Hey there, my name is Brittany and I'll be your guide to crochet this cute little Easter egg. This project works up really quick and it doesn't use much yarn at all. Well, first things first, head over to bhooked.com/egg to find the free pattern and have a look at the video description for your list of supplies. Let's get to it, shall we? We'll begin our Easter egg by creating a magic ring. So bring your two fingers together, wrap it around, hold on to that, place your hook under both loops. Now we'll pull this loop under this loop. You usually have to sort of swivel it around, and then grab your working yarn, make a chain, and then make one more. Now we won't count that chain one as a stitch. We'll make 6 single crochet in this ring, being certain to work over the tail, which is right here, and over the ring, which is right here around those two fingers. By the way, I have a super beginner-friendly tutorial on the magic ring. If this is brand new to you, I will link to that here in your video as well as in the description. Now for this pattern, we're working in a spiral, which means we're not going to join with a slip stitch at the end of every round. What we want to do instead is find our first single crochet of that magic ring, and we'll single crochet there. This will be the first stitch of round 2. Now since we're working in a spiral, we need to keep track of our first stitch of the round. We'll do so by marking that with a stitch marker. And for round 2, our repeat is going to be simple. We'll just make 2 single crochets into every stitch. In other words, we're increasing every stitch. Now at the end of round 2, you should have a total of 12 stitches, and we're ready to move on to round 3. We'll remove our stitch marker and make our first single crochet of round 3 in that stitch. And for this round, we're not increasing. All we need to do is make 1 single crochet into every stitch. And by the way, I'm catching both loops of the stitch when I make my single crochets. Alright, now at the end of round 3, we'll still have a total of 12 stitches, and your work will want to curl up kind of like this, but we really want it to go the other way. So I like to just sort of poke it out, and that way it will start taking an egg shape. Now for round 4, we'll increase every other stitch. So remove your stitch marker, make your first single crochet of this round, and then make 2 single crochets in the next. So here's your repeat for this round. You'll make 1 single crochet in the next stitch, followed by 2 single crochets in the next. You'll repeat this all the way around, and at the end of this round, you'll have a total of 18 stitches. Now moving on to round number 5, we're not going to increase this round. All we need to do is make 1 single crochet into every stitch, so our stitch count will remain 18. Now for round 6, we will increase again. Go ahead and make your first single crochet of the round and mark that stitch. This time we'll have 2 single crochets in between each of our increases. So I've made my first one. I'll make 1 more single crochet in the next stitch, followed by 2 single crochets in the next. So here's your repeat for this round. You'll make 1 single crochet into each of the next 2 stitches, followed by 2 single crochets in the next. Alright, now at the end of round 6, you'll have a total of 24 stitches, and we're ready for a big repeated section. So rounds 7 through 12 will be worked exactly the same, and it's really simple. We'll just make 1 single crochet into every stitch. Now do keep your stitch marker in place. We will do some decreasing after the end of this repeat, and we need to keep track of the first stitch of the round in order to do so. Moving on to round number 13, what we need to do is remove the stitch marker. We'll make our first single crochet of this round, and we're going to decrease, so keep that in mind. Now for round 13, we'll decrease to form the bottom of our egg, and first what you'll need to do is make a single crochet in your first stitch and replace your marker there. And what we'll do is put 2 single crochets in between our decreases. So that's the first one. Make 1 more single crochet in the next stitch, and then we'll do an invisible decrease or a single crochet 2 together, working in the front loops only. So find your next stitch, insert your hook into just the front loop of that stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, then insert your hook into the next stitch, front loop only, yarn over, pull up a loop, and then yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. So here's the repeat for this round. You'll make 1 single crochet into each of the next 2 stitches, followed by an invisible decrease or a single crochet 2 together using those front loops only. Now at the end of round 13, you should have a total of 18 stitches, and we're moving on to round 14. We'll decrease this round as well. Go ahead and make your first single crochet of the round and mark it with your stitch marker. And for this round, we're just putting 1 single crochet in between our invisible decrease. So go ahead and make a single crochet 2 together using those front loops only. And that's the repeat for this round. You'll make 1 single crochet followed by an invisible decrease. All right, now at the end of round 14, it's a good idea to go ahead and stuff it. So we just need to lift up on our crochet hook, keep that loop active, and our tail here from the beginning, you can just stuff that right inside. We don't need to weave it in, we can just hide it. Now for the 15th and final round, we will single crochet 2 together all the way around. We're going to do that invisible version. So go ahead and make your first one, and it's helpful to replace your stitch marker just so you know when you're at the end of this round. Now at the end of this round, go ahead and remove your stitch marker and just make a slip stitch in that stitch. Just sort of correcting the jog from working in a spiral. And now you can fasten off, leave yourself about a 5 to 6 inch tail. We'll use this to close up the little hole that remains and also to help conceal some of the little holes from our decreases. To close up the opening, I like to work just sort of a drawstring closure. So I'll go out 1 stitch and in the next. You'll do that for every one of your stitches. And then you can pull on that and I'll close it up. And for me, I like to weave in my tail, but also sort of correct some of these little holes that you might see.